Welcome to today's New Life Live podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by you. Your donations make this podcast possible. Please consider donating today using the New Life app, visit newlife.com, or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're here today. Joining me, Milan, Yerkovich, and Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Great to see you, Steve. Hi, Jill.
Hi,
How are
Milan.
you? Good to see you.
Good.
You're looking very fallish, by the way.
It's my season. I love it.
She looks awesome.
Why is it your season? Is it just like the colors are right for you?
Well, I love the
or
fall,
what?
and fall colors are my colors.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
It's when I shop right before fall, you know. Because
I'm a summer.
Are you a summer?
Yeah.
Or a spring?
No, I don't know.
No,
What do you
okay.
think?
I'm not sure. I'll think about that.
Remember when that was a big deal?
I
it
know.
was a really big
And I
deal.
actually don't follow that, but everybody
I just
relates
dated
to
myself,
that the most.
by the way.
I know.
because
There are
that was
other,
like
more
30
up-to-date things.
years ago.
I've dated myself when I was alone. I would date myself. But anyway, really glad you're with us today here on New Life Live. It's the 24th of October, and leaves are changing. It's really a beautiful time of the year. And tomorrow, Milan and I are talking about change. We're going to watch some people change at our marriage intensive in Columbus, Ohio. It's not too late to go. I mean, there are a couple of spaces you could get in. And we're really thrilled about getting to go there. And we just see people turn away from some things, turn back to some other things, and some make little changes that turn out to be huge, and then others, I mean, everything starts to transform. If you want to join us, come join us by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. There's scholarships, all sorts of stuff. Don't let money stand in the way. It's intimacy in marriage, and we would love for you to be there. And right now,
Could I make a quick comment on that before you push that button?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think another thing that happens at that intimacy retreat is before people come to that retreat, they think their situation is unique, that their situation is somehow hopeless or different, or if you just knew what was happening in our home, you'd understand why we're in pain. And then they come to this workshop and they realize there's 200 people sitting there and they all have the same. No, human beings aren't that inventive. We all struggle with the same things. And when they realize they're one of a group of people and there's hope to move out to the other side, they realize they're not alone.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beauties of this workshop.
And what I love to see, pastor and pastor wife couples coming, because so often when you're a pastor, you don't have any place to go. You know, you don't want anybody to know about what you're going through. And here's a place where, you know, it's confidential, and you can really get the help you need and be open about it and not worry about those kinds of issues. So, call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We will help you there. Now, I'm going to go right over here. And who was I going to talk to? I think I was going to talk with Lisa from Detroit, Michigan. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi.
Hi there.
I'm not doing too well, and that's why I'm calling, seeking, hoping for some counseling, for some help.
Okay.
I have a situation. I've been living in the same house, my childhood house, for 52 years of my life. I'm 57, and the property on the right side of mine became a rental property in 2012, and it's been one tenant from house after another for the past over 7 years, and the current tenant assaulted me on August the 10th. Okay, and I want to know how to get my life back, because the overall incident, Detroit police didn't arrest her when they came out. The commander executed a warrant right away for her arrest to the prosecutor's office, but there it is in Wayne County, so no action on that. And it's just...
Okay, well, just hold on, because we're going to go to a break, and when we get back from this break, we're going to try to give you some help. What a horrible situation to be in.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. November 15th to the 17th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Lisa, Detroit, Michigan. And what a horrible thing. A neighbor renter assaulted her. The police did nothing, it doesn't sound like. Jill, you want to start here with Lisa?
I just had a question at the break, Lisa. I don't know, but can you sue the landlord? Or have you thought about that?
No, because the owner of the property, she's way off in California.
I know.
And she's had one property management after another, and the current one told me to get a copy of the report to her, and I did, and that she would help me as much as she could. But then when I followed up on that, she come telling me, she won't tell me what the owner said. She won't give me contact information where I could talk to her and convey to her and let her know what her property has caused me physically and mentally, and how it has taken away from my life over here. I had a pretty good and happy life going along before this happened. The prior owner, she died, and then that's what became of her property. Then the other thing about it is nothing, because she brought this cat over here and animal control and all that. They won't do anything about anything, and this lady is jealous of me and my property over here because she found out my property is owned, and she see that I'm in good physical condition and everything, and can do all my landscaping stuff myself.
Lisa, okay. So I just want to help you, and we get it how bad it is, all right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter why it's bad. It's bad. So you've got some options. One option is to try to find a legal, through an attorney that maybe would do this to help you out. If you can't afford an attorney, there are people that do pro bono work. It's an interesting situation. Someone might be willing to help you in that way. The second thing, Lisa, is that being in the same place may not be anymore something of value given the reality of what's happened here with these renters that are causing you to not have your own life and freedom. Do you understand what I'm saying? I get it that that's where you've lived and the heritage and that, but sometimes we have to think about, wait, it's a different world today. Maybe this isn't the ultimate thing that I say I've lived in the same place for 52 years.
No, that's not the thing with it. The thing is, economically, I'm on a fixed income. I don't have the money to live somewhere else because here everything is paid for, and all I have to do is pay the utilities. And
Lisa?
And then the other thing is, my sister before me, she did something that she wasn't supposed to do. She put my name on it, and she shouldn't have never have done that. So then that
well, there's another legal issue that we can't help you with the legal stuff. But Jill wanted to.
What? Wait a minute. I'm trying to tell you. That caused me a mess with the taxes because this is my father's situation. I can't afford to do what he did. But I got all of that worked out so far with that. So it's just the fact that, and I would like to tell you this right quick because a person on a crisis line just Saturday put it in a different way. He said what's really going on is that the change of this property over here has I've had a bad reaction to it, and I haven't been able to deal with the change of what's going on. But what I'm seeking for help now is for myself, because they seem by the police not doing what they should have done, and animal control and stuff with that problem, and all these different people not doing what they should to do in their job here to help me where I could feel better and not be in this house and they just want me to stay shut up in this house and crack up. But I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of that, and I need to know how to get my feeling and life back that way where that won't happen.
Yeah, we understand.
While I'm waiting for what should be done with that warrant and the rest of the stuff to happen, because if that had to happen, that would have made me feel good that this lady sees that there's some consequences to what she did.
Yeah. Okay, so now here's the question for you. What did you do? What did you do this week to connect with some other people in a group, a Bible study, a support
positive
group, anything that somebody might really be helpful to you and kind of support you and encourage you? Anything like that in your life?
Over the phone.
Okay, so you called some crisis lines, you said, and you called us. So I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to reach out and start getting with some other people that are helpful to you. Not just over the phone, but face to face.
Yeah.
Church, Bible study, support group, codependency group. Sometimes that's it. Grief group can be great because you've lost something here.
Yeah.
And it was such a great thing that you had. So grieving can really
And even, you've lived there a long time, Lisa. I'm wondering if there's any other neighbors. You've probably seen everybody come and go. Are there neighbors that have been there a long time that can also support you in this situation?
But
right?
I think, you really need support. But I also think, Lisa, that what you're going through feels terribly unjust.
Yes. Yeah.
You see?
Oh, totally.
I mean, the whole, everything around you is allowing you to be treated unjustly, and nobody's helping to rescue you from the injustice that's taking a place all around you, and we really see that and empathize with that. And you need support, and grief recovery group could be a great idea because, as Jill said, you suffered a loss, and so what do we do with loss? And so we need to be able to have somebody teach us and support. What do we do legally? But then we also need to be able to find the emotional support.
That she's asking that
it's
too.
horrible for what Lisa is going through.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm really very glad that you called. And I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back. That can be a great key to some of this. And I'm going to also send Healing as a Choice because there's a great chapter in there on grieving and grief work. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. We want to help you. Let's go to Joe, Houston, Texas, KKHT. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Oh, not too good. How you doing today?
Doing all right. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, so me and my wife, we've been married 15 years, and we've been together 20, but we got married 15 years ago. We're recently probably going to get a divorce. Pretty much all it's all but said and done. How do I know that's the right sign? I've been asking God for signs, and I get kind of weird things, of course, online, the memes that come on, and but I've recently turned my life over to the Lord. I haven't, drank alcohol in almost 2 months now. I'm doing Bible studies. I'm praying a lot. And she doesn't really want to follow me in this life. She's not a bad person, but she did have an affair on me. But I was a terrible husband, and I have had affairs on her.
Okay. Milan, what are you thinking here for... Yeah, go ahead. You want to ask the question? Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, finish what you were saying, Joe.
Yeah.
What were you saying there?
So how do I know if divorce is the right thing? I mean, we've talked about it, and, we're pretty much all but said to go to the lawyer and start, dividing our things up.
Right. Well, I think a couple of things. I am not one of those people that looks for signs from the Lord to turn right or left or those kinds of things. I think, that was done once upon a time by a guy named Gideon who looked for a particular sign from God. Now, there's wisdom, however, and wisdom says, look, you guys have been together 20 years, married 15, yet alcohol was a big problem. And I truly appreciate, Joe, that you said, I haven't been a great husband. And so what do? We start working on our addiction. We get deeply involved in whatever it takes to find out what ache was I trying to make go away with alcohol. Then I have to get into AA and get recovery work going on. And I would just push a pause button and just say, well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go get recovery, and maybe I'll earn your love back someday.
Are you going to a recovery group?
No. I you know what? It's like alcohol is not even my thing anymore. I've been to tailgate parties, and I even took beer for other people that I invited, and I didn't even drink at all. I go to so we hang out at a bar for some meetings, not AA meetings obviously, but we'll go hang out at a bar for meetings. And I don't drink at all. It doesn't even catch my attention at all. I mean, it's like one of the list these things that.
But see, when you go to a recovery meeting, it's not about alcohol. It's about your character growth. Even somebody that's delivered miraculously from the desire for alcohol, you aren't delivered into Christian maturity in character. That's sanctification. That's a process. And that's what recovery does. And at the same time, you're around other people that remind you, oh, boy, the other side of this can get really, really bad. Jill, you had a thought here?
No, I'm totally agreeing with you, Steve, that it's great that you don't want to touch the alcohol anymore, but you're in a situation now where your marriage is hanging in the brinks. And sometimes, it takes our lives completely falling apart to then get serious about things. So you've gotten serious for 2 months, but there's been a lot that's led up to this. And aren't you a little bit curious why you and your wife are in this position?
Yeah.
You both have acted out and done things.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I mean, if you guys could get to our workshop that starts tomorrow, statistics show that even when adultery takes place, if you stay together 5 years later, you're happier if both people are working. If not, then you're just enabling a problem to go forward. So anyway, I hope something we've said here. So I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible and the workbook that's so great that goes with it. And I just hope and pray you'll stay on this track. But don't ever be arrogant about thinking that the alcohol is under control. The addiction is cunning, it is baffling, and it can really sneak up on you there. All right. How about we talk with Marie, Atlanta, Georgia, listens on the internet. Hi, Marie. Welcome to New Life.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hello.
How could we help?
Thanks for taking my call. Real quickly, my parents they got divorced in their 70s, and they're now in their 80s. They're very, very sharp mentally. However, growing up, my mom primarily was the abuser. They just had a very volatile marriage. And when I was 6 years old, However, my dad was very caring to me. And when I was 6 years old, she cursed me out so badly about my dad leaving and me wanting to go with him. And from that day forward, my mom just was always fussing at me. It was always cursing me out and yelling. I grew up not knowing what was wrong with me. I thought everything was wrong with me. I could never do anything right.
Yeah.
I felt like I was just grappling for a relationship with her. And as I got older, he wasn't even allowed to have a relationship with me. If she's upset with me, he's not allowed to speak with me. And so that went on and on until I got in my early 20s. I really started hating her. I really started hating her. And I actually called you guys about 20-something years ago, and you sent me a book called Boundaries, and that really helped me. Then I started counseling with my pastor, who helped me to forgive her. And I, from my 30s, was able to actually forgive her and love her because I never liked anything about her.
What's the question, Marie? What's the question for us then? Before we go to break, what's the question for us?
They're both older now, and we don't have a relationship. And now my dad is really sick.
We'll be right back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Talking to Marie. Not good, that parenting thing that she had growing up. Marie, you were going to ask us a question. We didn't get to it before the break. What is the question for us now?
My dad is sick, and we're estranged. Am I obligated to go to him? He didn't want to have anything to do with me for the past 4 years. Am I obligated to go see him for him to be nasty to me? I just don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Ouch. Are you wanting to see him?
I do, but
yeah.
I can't handle the emotional stress.
Mm-hmm.
They're so mean. They're so mean.
I'm sorry. That's so painful. So, but
I believe that. I'm supposed to see them, but I can't.
Marie, are you said your parents divorced in their 70s and they're now in their 80s. Do they still live together?
No, they live apart and they hate each other.
Okay. So, here's a simple answer, Marie. You loved your dad, and at one particular point in time, he was very nurturing to you. And yet, he's hurt also. And maybe a conversation with him to say, Dad, I wish things could have been different, and I'm sorry. And to be able to tell him you wish things would have been different, even to tell him your side of the story, that you were kept as a child from being with him. And you were truly in an abusive environment, Marie.
Yeah.
And your abuse that you've had is horrible. But yet I could see why you'd want to see your dad and maybe try to create something in the last few years here that he has. And I'm so sorry he's sick.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Marie? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to him. I just don't want. I don't know how to handle this.
Okay,
of this year, he said he didn't want to talk to me or my kids.
Okay,
he wasn't sick. Now he's sick.
Right. So, Marie, what if you wrote him a letter describing what Milan was saying? Kind of telling your side of the story and how much he meant to you. Get all your feelings out. And then at the end of the letter, because it's very therapeutic for you to write the letter. And you can just write, first write a rough draft. Just say anything you've ever wanted to say. And then you can go back and refine it and maybe share it with your kids or with somebody supportive. And then send it to him. And at the end of the letter, say, I really want to see you. I know you're not well. And it would mean everything to be able to see you. But it's in his hands, right? But I don't, I don't want to fight with you. I just want to see you.
All right. What do you think, Marie?
That makes me so much better. Thank you so much. I feel like that's what I should do. I didn't know what to do.
I know.
But that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's so much wisdom there. And, to see the person, to have a contact with them, it doesn't mean we have to or could even have a long-term relationship or whatever, but that's very, very wise there. I'm going to send you Healing is a Choice. I hope that is going to help you.
Can we also send Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers? Because it talks about...
I can't believe I didn't think of that. Absolutely.
I know.
Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers.
For this.
Yeah, coming her way.
Even though you've already forgiven, there's other things in there.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, she's forgiven, but boy, the pain.
It's so
like
hard.
It just happened. All right. 1-800-229-3000 to be on radio. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. Let's go to Margot, Austin, Texas. Sirius XM satellite radio is what she listens to. Hi, Margot. Welcome to New Life.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I was so happy to hear all three of your voices at once. I was like, my dream team is on the radio today.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Margot.
Seriously. So I'm with my 14-year-old daughter right now, and we had an incident last night in our home that has caused us, we actually spent the night in a hotel last night. It was more about, everybody needs to, go to their corners and calm down. So I chose to pack up, take the dogs, take her, and we went to a hotel, and I have not spoken to my husband since our argument last night.
Okay.
My question for you guys is, I am caught between a father and a daughter that absolutely cannot get along. I want my marriage, I want my daughter, and I don't know what to do.
Okay.
It's a tough
We're
spot.
a faithful family where there's no adultery, there's nothing. It's just a relational issue that I can't be in the middle anymore. It's killing me, and I don't know what to do.
Well, that's a good first step, Margot, to realize I can't do this anymore. I think that's very important, and I think calling us is also very important. And did I hear this correctly, that your 14-year-old daughter is in the car as well?
Correct.
So she's listening to us.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
all right.
So
go ahead,
Steve.
Yeah. Well, at the break, ask her, and if you don't know, when we come back, what is her biggest source of complaint. Is that what you were thinking, Milan? Or?
No, but I like your idea.
Yeah, where the conflict lies.
All right. So, yeah, maybe that'll get us started here. We'll give you some help right after this. Listening to New Life Live, a gift of any amount. And I'm going to send you 100 Days of Healing. It's amazing what a devotional book like this can do. 100 days, you're into the healing process.
My wife had found me out through my past and my sexual addiction since I was a small child. It really gave me the opportunity to start digging into my past, start digging into my childhood, figure out what was causing me to feel the way I was feeling. Every Man's Battle will really give you that opportunity because all the guys there in that room are there for the exact same reason you're there. I don't want to be the reason that my kids are going to counseling. I don't want to be the reason that they begin to struggle with the same issues that I'm struggling with, and I've got to put an end to this. Yes, you can be different. God does love you. You can be forgiven for this, and there's a way out of this. But you have to acknowledge that you have to change, and that there's a problem.
If you're struggling, call us. There are people on the other end of the line who want to hear from you, who want to help you. We don't want you to hand down something to another generation that just looks like pain and destruction. You can hand down redemption, but you got to take that first step. Just give us a call. It's 1-800-639-5433. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Last year, after Every Man's Battle, I was so moved by the transformation that I saw not only in myself, but in the guys in our small group and the other people that were there and the stories that I heard, that I decided to go ahead and join Club New Life as a contributor to that.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
You guys are doing God's work here. You're restoring marriages. You're giving people hope. It's just been such a blessing to me, and I just wanted to encourage you all. When you see something good that God's doing, just jump on that and help support that.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Give your support to them if you can, and just help them do what God's doing here in the world.
Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Margot is on in Austin, where my brother lives. And, boy, horrible conflict. And we've asked her to just ask her 14-year-old daughter, what does she feel like the biggest source of conflict is? And then I'm going to turn this over to Milan. He's got some even better questions here. But let's start there. Margot, what is it? What's the big issue?
She feels like he's abandoned her, emotionally and physically. He travels a lot for work, and when she was 5.5, almost 6, he got a new job. He had to go off for training. It was about a 3-week process that he wasn't here, and she sincerely felt like he left us. And in a 5-year-old's mind, I can see that, even though she's talked to him on the phone, and I reassured her, and he reassured her. There's all sorts of, reassurance that she got that Daddy's coming back. But she's suffered a lot of losses in her life, and that honestly, really, truly was something that always comes up in our discussions. And to this day, he still travels a lot, and it's just, there's a lot of distance, a lot of disconnect.
What do you think about that, Milan? I mean, there are people, like if you're in the military, you may go away for 6 months, and everybody has to deal with it. It's probably just so painful no matter what.
Yeah, but a 5-year-old can't deal with it. And even especially if something has been put into the child of, and I loved your point, Margot, she's also suffered other losses. But here's the bottom line. She's scared and she misses Dad. Now, he can maybe attempt to tell her, well, I'm here and you can call me on the phone, whatever, but somehow there's an inattentiveness that's occurring, and she's scared and she feels alone and she doesn't feel seen. And
she doesn't trust him.
And she doesn't trust that, well, you're not going to go away again, or you won't see me the next time, or I don't know if you really do see me. Mm-hmm. So to be able to sit down and have emotional conversations about allowing both of them to be fully seen. It sounds like your husband is very left brain, maybe a little emotionally avoidant, and also non-empathetic. So he's probably beating a drum that, what's the matter? Here I am. I'm providing for you. Stop it. And your daughter is just scared, and she feels alone, and she just needs to be seen. A good marriage and family therapist that understands what we just explained to you could really help them learn to have great emotionally oriented conversations and to empathize with her instead of demanding that she think through her left brain.
Okay, I love that, and I think you're right on that, and I'm going to bring that up in our next counseling session. We have a wonderful counselor here that is really she's very intuitive, so I do really like her. We had a wonderful counselor, and she worked with us for 3 years, and we were making some progress, and she committed suicide. And
there you go.
Wow. Okay, Margot.
Man. Yeah. It's just like, and my best friend who took care of her for years died of ovarian cancer.
Oh boy.
It's like this kid has gone through goodbye after goodbye after goodbye.
Yes.
And I can't get him to bridge a little over to the right, and it causes conflict with us. My question back again is, what do I do? What do I do?
I'll tell you what.
I'm standing in the middle of
Margot,
the road, and there's fire on both sides.
I'm going to tell you one thing to do that we don't say very often on this show. I'd have your husband listen to this segment. Mm-hmm. I'd have him go online and listen to this segment. This is Attachment Research 101 right here. It's all about attachment experiences, and your sweet daughter lost the physical presence of her dad. He's still gone a lot. Mm-hmm. Whether he acknowledges that she misses him or not, he has to learn to do that. And then these two horrible losses of the therapist and a close friend. You're right. She has abandonment and loss issues, and he's either going to empathize and choose to empathize, or he's going to simply reject the whole thing, and that's not your responsibility. That's his choice by conscience.
Well, and the only way she can connect with him, it sounds like it's through the conflict, right? Because he's not emotionally present.
Oh, that's a good
so
point.
The conflict then is at least something, because if we can't get positive attention, we'll go for the negative.
That's an excellent point.
And that's why workshops like the Marriage Intensive is so powerful, because sometimes the guy doesn't know what to do, how to do. He hears this, watches somebody else do it, and then he's got an excuse to change things. Reconciliation can take place here, but
so Steve, I was actually wondering about that for the two of them. For him to learn, Margot, with you first, so then he can transfer that to his daughter.
That's right.
And to be in a place, Steve, you're right, where he can see examples of that. How do you do that? Because, it feels better to him to be in his left brain. That's where he's confident, right? Yeah. And so if he's always going to his head and thinking, he's completely missing your daughter, and probably, Margot, missing you a lot, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, has to be, because he's not responding to the position that this puts her in. So,
Steve, to your point, at our intimacy workshop, Kay and I model a real live, unrehearsed conversation that the other person doesn't know what we're going to discuss.
Good.
She and I. And we have discussions, and then we tell people what we're doing. They can follow along on a piece of paper. But it teaches them, and we model to them, an emotionally intelligent, relationally intelligent conversation that, frankly, I had to learn as an adult. I didn't know how to do this as a kid, and neither did Kay. Right. We learned it when we were 40 years old.
Yeah. There you go. It takes that. Now, in this situation, husband and wife have to take the lead to resolve their things and get connected here. Marriage intensive would be a great thing for you. Marriage counseling would be a great thing. And then that would help both of you to help your daughter connect with Dad. I am going to send her your book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. That will, for the daughter. I want to send How We Love to you, Margot, for you and your husband. And I'm going to hope and pray you could get to an intensive because, man, this is so sad. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be this way at all. All right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. I hope you'll call us. Let's go to Don, Tyler, Texas, listening on Sirius XM, channel 131. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Don, how are you?
Hey. Good afternoon.
Hey,
I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all today?
Doing all right. What's happening in your life today?
Well, really, I want to hopefully get some input on how to talk to my wife about some issues.
Okay.
The latest one is I'm a contractor, and I have to file my own taxes. I have to keep it back so I can file. And I have let her, pretty much all of our marriage of 8 years, take care of all the finances. She's real good at it. I did it once before, and I wasn't doing it up to par. So she felt best just do it herself. And she just told me a couple of weeks ago that she has not put anything back for taxes this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we are already behind on the last couple of years making payments, and
okay,
we're going to be good bit behind now. And she broke down and told me, and she thought I was just going to blow up and get mad, but I wanted to love her through her sorrow and grief because I saw real repentance there. But neither one of us are real good with finances and money and saving. But
so what's the question for us, then, buddy?
Going on with codependency and stuff with her grown kids, so a lot of money goes out the wrong places, is my opinion.
Okay.
And
what's the question for us, then, Don?
How can I bring it to her without hurting her? Like I said, she's real defensive with me. She told me a couple days ago. I told her it's like she wants me home. I'm gone. I'm home every other weekend. She wants me home now. We have a preteen son that I really need to be there with in these critical years, and I have to find another job to get there. And I told her, so I wish I could just leave now and come home, but we have no fallback. And
okay.
I just don't know how to bring it to her without her getting defensive and with me hurting her.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to give you the best shot we have. We can't control her reaction. She may be defensive. She may feel hurt. But let's try to help you with a strategy that would give you the best chance of getting through and having a connection versus the other way around. You're listening to New Life Live, 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Columbus, Ohio, October 25th to the 27th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we're back talking with Don. Got some tough things to go over with his wife. Milan, let's start with you. What do you think is Don's best strategy here?
Well, Don, did I hear you say that you've been married to your wife about 8 years? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
We've both been married before.
Okay, one time or two times?
Multiple. 4 for her, 3 for me.
Okay, so here lies the problem. You see, we have there's a fallacy to the term blended families. They're step families, but I don't know how often and how well they blend. You know, it's a nice word that people use. But really, your wife is torn between, because you said she's not paying the taxes, but she's giving money to her grown kids, and she's codependent. And really, what we need to do with that kind of a situation is we need to, without talking about the money per se, we need to pull off topic, and we need to sit down and say, what kind of a marriage are we going to have? And the tension, a lot of the tension we have, has to do with this issue of your family versus my family. And of course we want to protect our kids. And so, but how do we do this? And I would sit down with a therapist that could help you understand the tensions, because in most cases, Don, most couples aren't prepared well for remarriage.
Mm-hmm. And this is multiple.
And this is multiple, and they've never talked about these things.
So something's not working, and then you guys just go your separate ways, right? And find somebody new to try with. Mm-hmm. And that isn't working. So I like the idea, Milan, of not talking about the money and not, of course, from your viewpoint, giving money to her kids is not a good thing. But if you start there, she is going to be defensive. The kids were there first. And so whatever it may be, guilt, whatever it is, she's got a codependent thing going there. But I think to sit down and to own your part, that you're not good with finances, the traveling is really tough on the marriage, right? And that this is your third time and you're still not getting it right. And would she be willing to go with you to get some help so that you guys can really look at why do you keep ending up, at least for you, in this same situation or something similar where things just are a struggle, and that you don't want to attack her. You're equally not good with finances.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Do you think she would be willing?
Good. And
I'm
really not sure there. We have been to a couple of weekend of remembers with Focus, and she says, "Oh, those are probably good for some people, but not for us." And just say I think men is a big problem because, like I said, she's gone through some rough ones. Mm-hmm. Mine was adultery the first time on her part, drug abuse the second time that involved my 2 children. And I just had to protect them and get them away from it. And now, say for instance, she told me one morning that she told our son that John the Baptist wrote the book of John. And I told her, I was like, honey, no, that's not right. That was John the disciple. and she got mad as a hornet at me for correcting her.
Well, you guys have a lot of issues, and there are probably a lot of ways that this comes out. I wish you guys could get some help. Together.
I know. I think the marital counseling where you can start to unpack things, and even though, okay, you've done other things, to just then say, well, then nothing works, well, that isn't true. You have to keep trying and finding what does work. Otherwise, your marriage is just going to deteriorate. So it's not an option to do nothing.
Well, we have grown so much spiritually over the last several years, and I even wrote a book on spiritual warfare. And we know where the attacks are coming from. We know who's bringing them, and we know he does bring us together.
Don.
But I just don't.
Don.
I hear y'all, and I hear your compassion and your love.
And well, here's the thing, Don. A lot of times we do things up in the head. We know things, and we talk about stuff. We can write things. I'm talking to myself here. I've written a lot. But it doesn't get to the heart. And what we're trying to do is get you guys in a heart connection. Not an intellectual or a conceptually spiritual connection, but a heart connection. And that's what I'm going to send you How We Love. I got to tell you, there's not a better book to bring couples together, find a way to communicate. I'll send you the workbook also. I wish everybody in the Christian world and secular and all the atheists I know would read it also. It really could make a huge difference. So I'll get that to you. Well, maybe, Milan, you could close after I finish this with a little encouragement to couples that are struggling. But first, I just want to invite everybody to look into whether or not tomorrow you could get to Columbus, join us for our marriage intensive. Maybe it's not an intensive that you need. You need a book. I talk about How We Love. It's the best marriage book ever. It's what we give couples as wedding presents. It's just amazing what's there. Every Man's Battles, November the 1st. Restore for women who've been hurt by a man with sexual integrity problems. That's coming up in D.C. on the 15th. Finding Freedom's this summer. But I hope and pray that you could get the help that you need in some way. Also, we need your help. I put together 4 devotionals. When you join Club New Life at $30 a month, well, you get 100 days of healing, prayer, character, and peace. Gift of any amount, I'll send you the new 100 Days of Healing. And then $20 or more, and I'll send you Kirby McCook's The Jesus Chronicles. Is for 8 to 12-year-olds, and it answers everything. It's truth for them, and then you look really cool because you gave them a very funny but insightful book about the Bible. And so if you need help, call us. If you can help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Those are the ways that we're going to thank you. But Milan, we talked to couple after couple who's struggling. And sometimes they get good help. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's making an impact. And then it impacts the kids. So is there some encouragement that you could give here at the end of the program?
Yes. C.S. Lewis said that none of us can alter or change how things began. But we have every bit of capacity to change the ending by choices we make today. Now, the Bible says there's 2 kinds of houses, one built on rock and one built on sand. But both of them, the part of the story that's not often emphasized is that the storms are common to both homes. And so storms are in all of our lives. It's just that some homes weather them and some marriages weather them better than others. And when we're in a situation like Don and his wife, we have to go back and look at the foundations. We have to look, what am I building on? What was built into me? What things do I, as the Apostle Paul said, want to put off the old man, the parts that aren't working well, and then put on new things that will work better? And I realize it's not just spiritual opposition. That's, of course, there. We acknowledge that. But it's also immaturities. I didn't learn how. You said this at another time, Steve. Just because we can make a decision or feel like we're more spiritual now doesn't mean we have instantaneously imputed into us the ability to have a conversation, to look somebody in the eyes and have emotional discussions and relationally healthy dialogues. We can learn these things no matter how old you are.
That's right. All we ask is you call us when you're ready to find better. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Milan. Thank you, Dr. Jill Hubbard. Thanks to all of you who listen, watch, and pray. See you next time.
Listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800